Hey legends, it's time for your day 5 guides for the Golf Grand Prix tournament with Banger from Ultimate Golf Caddy. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button below to make sure you're always the first to know when my Grand Prix guides go live. As always, we're using the best companion app for Ultimate Golf to make these guides, and that is Ultimate Golf Caddy. You can find it in the Google Play Store by searching Ultimate Golf Caddy, UG Caddy, or Caddy for UG. If you're new to Ultimate Golf or wanting to start a new account, you can use the promo code that you see on screen, Bandit23, to get yourself an awesome stack of club cards, premium balls, and game cash to help you club up faster. Okay, I've got a solid set of guides for you today, so let's not muck around. It is guide time. Okay, we've got an eagle to start today, taking our drive with the red Barchetta and Tour Pro Trophy ball. We apply all of our backspin, starting with the outside ring lining up with the small jut to the right front bunker, as you can see. This drive gets us to approximately 256 yards. For our approach shot here, we're starting with no spin, and you'll see I start here about 1.95 rings from landing to cup. We then want to line our ball guide up with the left side, aiming at the center of the second row of checkers on the flag. Now, if your flag's not consistent enough to line up, when you're looking dead straight through the ball guide, have the right edge exactly halfway between the flag stick and the left edge of the cup. Then go ahead and apply all of your backspin. Do our adjustment here, 2 rings. Let's go ahead and take our shot. Ultimate ball. Great line, straight at the flag and into the cup for a nice eagle. Now, this one looks like it's coming in very hot, but I tried it further back and it was much harder to get the consistency I need. So I'm happy to go with this play. All right, let's get on to hole 2. Hole 2 is our first par 3. We're playing with our ET here, and we start with 3 bars of left spin, and we're settling on 1.85 rings from landing to cup, as you can see here. We go ahead and set our aim outside the left edge to account for the break and the adjustment elevation loss. So guide tip pointing maybe 2 ticks outside the left edge of the cup, as you can see here. So go ahead and apply full backspin, and we get our numbers from Caddy. So we're at 14.8 rings from max. We've got a 3.9 mile per hour headwind here, which gives us an adjust of 1.79 rings. Okay, so we get our adjustment, go ahead, line it up, and take our shot. As you'll see, this one comes in at the perfect speed, tracking really nicely into the center of the cup for a solid hole-in-one. All right, time for hole 3. Okay, so for hole 3, I forgot to hit practice before I started, so we only get the one look at this hole, but my approach is affected by a pretty wild great ball for an obvious miss, but I think this one's going to be nice and close, and we should be able to get a good read on making the eagle here. So we're starting with ET at max, 3 bars of backspin, and set the third right ring against the right rough line. Go ahead and take your shot. Didn't get the drive registered here, but it should get you somewhere around 2 to 3 rings from max. For our approach shot, we're starting with 2 bars of backspin, aiming to have our guide tip hitting the flag stick. Alternatively, we're aiming to be 1.05 rings from landing to cup. We then aim our guide straight at the flag and go ahead and apply 1.2 bars of left spin and all of our backspin. We grab our numbers from Caddy, so 2.5 rings from max, 3.7 mile per hour headwind. Caddy tells us that's an adjust of 2.05 rings. Go ahead and take our shot. And as you can see when I come in here, probably double or triple great right, and with this low accuracy club really impacts your trajectory of the shot. But as you can see, probably to the right edge of that great ball. So I think without the great ball, this one looks pretty good. The speed is nice coming in, and I think the line looks good. So I'd recommend grabbing a practice pin, try out the exact setup that I've suggested, and if it needs a slight amendment, go ahead and do that. All right, let's get on to hole 4. Okay, hole 4 is our first par 5. We've got a reasonable miss here, but plenty to work with. I've got a green backspin pin here and setting up my drive with the curl of the 3rd ring on the left side, lining up with the far shadow on the fairway, as you can see. We apply all of our backspin and go and take our shot. This drive gets us to 270 yards. Now I set my shot up here approximately 1 2/3 rings from landing to cup with 1 bar of right spin. I then aim it straight at the cup and apply an extra bar of right spin to account for the heavy right to left break. Not super visible with these low ball guide clubs. I then apply all of my backspinners, so with 1.7 from max in a 3.1 mile an hour side wind, gives us a 1.68 or 1.67 ring adjust. So now my pull here, it actually means I'm going to end up rolling long as I pull uphill, which would normally cause an underpull. But because of the heavy break on this green, we still end up left side and long. So what I would recommend here is to use a gold backspin pin if you have it, and probably add an extra bar of right spin to your setup, maybe even 1.5 bars. If you don't have any gold backspin pins, then probably set up about 1.8 to 2 rings from landing to cup. And I think these adjustments should get you really close to the albatross here. So if you find a play here, feel free to share it in the comments so others can get the drop too. All right, let's go ahead and check out hole 5. Okay, so another par 5 here, and the lack of ball guide really kills me on this tricky green with a very hard kick on approach, something that we need to take note of. We'll roll through this one quickly, but our drive is a red butch header at max full top spin and 6 bars of left spin. 3rd ring against the left rough, drive distance of 330 yards. Now on approach, I'm just past max ET here, so I can't take advantage of all the backspin, but I'm 2.5 rings from landing to cup, which lets me use roughly 1.5 bars of backspin. Basically, I'm trying to line this one up at the hole, but I should have taken account of the slight downhill pull. With a 2.9 mile an hour tail at max, Caddy gives us a 1.6 ring adjust. We go ahead and make our adjustment. Take our shot. And as you'll see as this comes in, this one kicks hard to the left, and then it holds that line as it comes into the cup. So there's a couple of ways to correct this. You can either do that with spin or landing position adjustment. I definitely recommend a practice pin here to find a better play than what I did. If I had a hit practice, I would have found something here that we could have used, but I'd probably try and get something, maybe use the Stingray here instead of the ET, just because of the extra distance on this hole. But chuck a practice pin on, give it a try. Maybe try this setup with an adjustment to the right rather than the line that I took. All right, so let's get on to hole 6. All right, so we're back in the drop zone this hole, starting our drive at max Stingray and the left outside ring just inside the first cut of dark grass on the fairway, as you can see. We apply 4 bars of left spin and 3 bars backspin, then go ahead and take the shot. This should get us to approximately 226 yards for our drive. For our approach shot, we're using ET again and apply 2 bars of left spin. We set this one up 2.2 rings from max, and we set up outside the left edge of the cup as shown. We go ahead and apply all of our backspin. So with 3.8 rings from max with a 4.3 mile per hour headwind, giving us an adjustment of 2.36 rings on caddy. We go ahead and make our adjustment, take the shot, and as you can see, it holds the line on that left side really nicely and then rolls down perfectly into the cup with the heavy left to right break for a solid eagle. All right, time for hole 7. Okay, we've got a pretty brutal 900 on this par 3, but very easy for you guys to correct. I've used a wind reduction ball here to cut down on this tailwind, but I maybe went a little bit hard with the reduction. We're going to be using Stingray here and starting with 2 bars of right spin. And again, we're at max here, so we can't use all of our backspin, but after a little look around here, I settle on 1 full bar of backspin, and then I'm lining the guide straight up at the flagstick. So caddy then tells us that we need a 5.73 ring adjust at max with our Stingray. So we make our adjustment here. Looks good there. We go ahead and take our shot. Now, as you'll see, the line coming in here is solid. Speed looks good right until the last second, and we stop agonizingly short. So, couple of easy fixes here. Maybe select a ball with a touch more wind, so less wind reduction. Maybe somewhere up to about 3.5 miles per hour. Or alternatively, all you probably need to do is take a single tick of backspin off. So start with the whole bar, take 1 tick off, and that should get this one coming in at the perfect speed to get the drop. I'm really confident you guys can nail this one. Okay, another drop here on hole 8. We're starting our drive here with Stingray at max and no spin, roughly somewhere in the middle of that big shadow. No need to be too precise here. Go ahead and take your shot and you'll get a drive of approximately 238 yards. For our approach shot, we're using ET, starting with 2 bars of right spin and setting up 1.85 rings from landing to cup. We then set our guide tip to line up right outside the right edge of the cup, and we apply all of our backspin. Okay, so 4.7 rings from max in a 3.5 mile an hour headwind. Caddy tells us that we have an adjustment of 1.87 rings. Just settling on the right position. We go ahead, do our adjustment, take the shot. Okay, so nice speed, very nice line coming in here for a very strong eagle. All right, time for the final hole. Hole 9, we have a slight miss here, but a consistent line, so we should be able to fix this one. We're driving with red barchetta here, all of our right spin, and 4 bars of top spin. We set outside the right ring against the right rough line and go ahead and take our shot. Our drive distance here is approximately 331 yards. So for approach, we're using ET, setting up 2 rings from landing to cup here with no spin. So I line my shot up here aiming 1 tick outside the right edge of the cup for the downhill pull, which you'll see doesn't quite offset that extra pull from the downhill elevation. Caddy gives us an adjust of 1.91 rings. Okay, so we make our adjustment here. We take our shot. And as you'll see, the heavy downhill pull gets us too far to the left side here. But helpfully you'll see it holds that line really nicely coming in. What I'm finding with these lower accuracy clubs is that the elevation effect on your adjustment plays more significantly than you're probably used to with high-end clubs. It's probably just a visual trick causing this, but it's definitely there. So with that in mind, we've been setting things up with a lot more offset. On this hole, next attempt, I would still use this setup, but probably apply a couple of ticks of right spin to correct the overpull, or maybe start a little wider on the right side of the cup. Speed's really good, so I would definitely stick with the 2 rings from landing to cup and just look to fix the lineup. Again, if you've got the practice pins, take advantage of them here and get yourself this albatross. Alright, so some really solid plays here today, guys. Some easy misses to correct and a chance at a really nice score here. I think you guys are going to get some really nice cards coming in. So let me know how you go with the suggested corrections. Noting that the weekend has already started for me in the future here down under. I'm going to leave the guides for the final 2 days. But I think the approach I'm taking to the guides now with the misses and explaining the corrections, I'm giving you guys a lot more to work with and figure out how to dial these shots in for yourself. So you should be okay to get through these last 2 days and get yourself into that final and hopefully get some decent prizes. But don't worry, I will definitely be back for the next Grand Prix. And if time permits, I might look to do something for the next showdown. So good luck today, legends, and until next time, cheers.